The fart-sniffing pseudo-intellectualism of a fat 50-year-old white guy. That is the title of this artwork. Or at the very least it should be, if we were to be honest with ourselves for a moment, as I am sure you have seen this dozens of times by now, as it has been all over the news and social media to the point where it completely blew the red versus blue button debate out of the water, which in and of itself is quite remarkable, as that was rather viral as well, almost as if 1,000 governmental accounts all screamed out for attention at once, but oh well, details, as truly the only thing lacking from this rather avant-garde statement right here is a big sticker saying property of His Majesty's government, as this obviously enough has the full-throated support of the entire UK governing body of both London, the nation and everything else, as it was placed up in one of the areas on Earth with the largest numbers of CCTV cameras per square footage. By the way, simultaneously as the heightening of the national threat level in the UK after the anti-Semitic stabbing of 2 Jewish men. And just as a slight aside, by the way, can you guess how many knife-related crimes are carried out in Britain on just a daily basis? Just one day. How many stabbings do you think happen in England on one day? It's a lot. 282 to be precise. 282 stabbings. That is a knife assault every 5 minutes. And yet, somehow, this was a terrorist attack worthy of raising the threat levels. I wonder why. But okay, that's not quite the topic here or there, as the main one is, of course, this right here, with a lot of people saying this is a brilliant artwork, of course, a lot of people saying that it is anti-nationalist. Indeed, that was my first knee-jerk reaction as well, as we all know who the favourite punching bag is: nationalism, because nothing is more rebellious and avant-garde than attacking the thing that everybody has agreed for the last, 40, 50 odd years? You know, ever since the Austrian man did his thing, was a universal bad. Very rebellious. Whilst yet others have pointed out that, well, if you want to talk about a flag blinding people these days, there are certainly significantly better options than the British flag, to be sure. Now, I do believe that this is actually a slightly clever trick here. From Banksy's own perspective, though, as he is, well, pro-communist, anti-religion, corporations, and, well, England in general, we can be fairly sure that he intended this to be a warning against nationalism, especially as he himself has been, well, both a long-term beneficiary of the government and the capitalist world in which he lives, as the man is a multi-millionaire, and also the most classical example of overweight old white man you could ever possibly imagine. But there is something a little bit more deep here as well, because what is a flag really? What does it symbolize? As, of course, the statue itself has a blank flag, more like a banner rather than the traditional square flag of Western nations. Well, it is a symbol. Now, symbols can take many shapes and sizes, everything from the smattering of LGBTQ ideology, for example, hearts, rainbow flags, banners, the rainbows themselves, the letters, and so on, and indeed also the flags themselves. And in the UK, there has, of course, been a rather rapid rise in British nationalism, simply due to the fact that their country appears to value certain demographics far above the other 281 people stabbed that way. Well, 280 to be precise, but you get my drift. Now, iconography, icons, symbols can be many things. In this case, the warning is quite clear. Do not be blinded by your ideology. Now, this is something, of course, that is also extraordinarily subjective, and that every group will have their own distinct interpretation of. From the right wing, they look at this and goes, oh god, nationalism again, another trite warning about caring about one's nation, as if where one lives and its continued prosperity is of any consequence whatsoever. Oh, those silly nationalists. And of course the right, well, they're more left-wing interpretation, but other way around, whereas the right wing looks at it and sees a left blinded by its own ideology that has grown so dim-witted and so purposefully blind as to ignore the degradation of their own nations simply in order to push their agenda. Diversity über alles. Now, I think it is perhaps a little bit more direct than either one. I think it is a direct critique of ideology, symbology, and icons in general, which is such a classic liberal, modern liberal way of viewing the world, where we should have no symbols, nothing placed above us. We should not aspire to anything greater than us. We should certainly not identify with anything greater than us, and we should not strive towards it. We should not build up icons. We should not build up movements. We should not build up nations or ideas. We should all exist as atomized individuals, caring for absolutely nothing but our own tiny existence in the universe, as we continue to live in an ever-growing scrap heap of the world we left behind, wallowing in the ruins, because to try to rebuild what was lost would be endangering ourselves for being blinded by ideology. If we build something greater, after all, we might end up stepping off a cliff. We might become the Nazis. I mean, sure, but that's a rather ridiculous way of viewing the world, isn't it? And at the core of this as well, that's where this all comes from, because this is the revolutionary idea of the 50-year-old boomer that has been left behind by far by reality. The same people like, what was this guy, Sam Smith or something? The man who in like 2024, I think it was, went up on the Grammy stage dressed as the devil and went like, oh, I'm mocking Christianity, wow, aren't I cutting edge? Yes, that would indeed be rather remarkable about, what, 60 years ago? Yeah. Around about 60 odd years ago. Basically, at a point in which this man was not even born, this would be considered scandalous. And it's honestly largely the same with this. This idea that all ideology bad, all nationalism bad, all greater goals bad, we should simply be a blank slate upon which anything and everything could be painted, that we should cover ourselves in all the colours of the world with no specific interest, ideology, or overarching narrative, no point to our existence or purpose itself is, in the light of the modern day, absurd. We have tried that. We now live in the ruins of a much greater civilization because of that. We experience greater levels of nostalgia for the past than ever before because of that. We have built practically an entire movement around the idea of simply going back, goddammit, because we all know it was in fact better before, when we did have these things. We had something greater than ourselves. By and large, that was simply the nation, as most other things had already been reduced down into the turgid slop. We had agreed indeed that we, the Western world, was not necessarily any more important than the second or the third world, and there, but for the grace of God, go we. There was no difference between us. A lie that has now been shown to be thus. It is very clear to us that the reason why we did grow to be greater powers was precisely because we allowed ourselves to build nations. We built ideologies. We embraced ideas on a grand scale. we made something significantly larger than the man in question, and we did so without the cowardly, idiotic fear that we might somehow lose control of our own creation, that we would stumble off some irreversible cliff. As we realize as well, though that is always a risk with any human endeavor, especially excessive nihilism, it is always something that we can avoid, or at least strive towards avoiding. Nevertheless, regardless of the risk, striving towards it has proven undoubtedly to be the superior option compared to laying down to die, which is in essence what a statue like this champions. And whilst that might be starting to seem like a pretty damn good idea for a man whose ticker is probably beginning to labour quite heavily underneath the weight of hamburgers, etc., it's not a great one for the rest of us. Most of us aren't millionaires, and we didn't earn it of drawing very, very avant-garde things like, hey, corporatism bad on walls. If anything, that was the easy way out. Now, we're gonna have to try and right the ship that others upended. So, no, icons are not inherently bad. Even ideology is not inherently bad. And having symbols that one can follow, rally around, and achieve great things together far beyond the abilities of a single man is also not bad. Banksy. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.